So I think golfers tell me that they put lots of effort into their golf swings to not get a great deal of distance. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how we're going to turn the arms off to create an effortless power source that helps you hit the ball further and straighter than ever before. So I think when I watch golfers swing, a lot of golfers nowadays set up pretty well to the golf ball and make a pretty decent job of the backswing. But from the top of the backswing, we see a huge amount of effort. And even on that good strike there, getting out 131 carry, 133 total, but high, soft, kind of fadey slice. And I think the problem for a lot of golfers is, once they get to the top of the backswing, they're so obsessed with hitting the ball that the first thing that goes is the hands and the club, then the arms, then the body, and last, if at all, the legs get involved. So we tend to see kind of that right arm gets very straight very early in the downswing, kind of release the club early, and it's a very, very weak impact position. And yet when you watch the best players in the world, it's very, very different from how they start their downswing. So they'll get to the top, and it'll be lower body that moves, then it's the torso, then the arms, then the club fires. So it's almost a completely different sequence. So in today's video, we're going to work on a couple of ways that you can turn those arms off as late as possible so that we create that real whip through the bottom of the golf ball. So the first thing I'm going to do is do some practice swings, but I want you to get to the top of your backswing. And if you're working through this with me, tell me what you feel moves first in your downswing. And a lot of golfers will tell me it's definitely the hands and the arms. We can see there down the line which way that club's going. So I want you to feel like you get to the top and the arms just stay back there, and you're going to feel that the legs drive towards the target. You can see down the line there the difference with what the club does. The club now goes down behind me to then make my swing. So we're going to get to the top, drive towards the target, and it's almost feeling like the arms are as late as possible coming down. Okay? Now, if you are working through this with me, I then want you to hit a couple of shots with that feel. And what you might feel initially is that the strike's good, but that ball goes over to the right-hand side. Now, I don't necessarily mind that, because the first thing we'll notice is the carry there was as far as the really well struck one where the arms were starting first, and yet there was literally nothing in that golf swing at all. And that's a real key first movement for a lot of golfers. But then at some point, the hands and arms have got to fire to be able to square that club face up. But we don't want them firing here. We want them firing last minute down into the ball. So I think a great way of feeling this can be, I talk a lot about the golf swing being just a circular motion around the body. Okay? And then obviously down the line, what some people would say is, obviously the circle's on an angle, so it should come from the inside, back to straight, and then return back on the inside. But I think because most people have that concept about straight through the middle, they still get too much of their circle going to the right and going to the left. Now the problem with going left is when we look face on, see how early that right arm straightens again? And that's that issue. So what we want to feel is that you're going to make your circle, but draw your circle over to the right hand side. And I want you to feel when you do that, that right arm isn't straightening until after impact. So I'm almost going to throw the club over to the right hand side and almost down kind of 45 degrees ahead of me. So it's almost like that. Very different feel. And certainly when I work on this with golfers, their first feedback is, feels like I'm going to hit it over there. So we do plenty of practice swings, shift the lower body, throw the club down and to the right. Then, once we feel that movement's consistent, we set up to the ball. and we feel like we throw the club over to the right. Now that has gone a little bit right, but we see a massive pickup in distance there at 160 carry and 173 total. But it's also, as we get that feel of throwing the club down and to the right, and that right arm straightening, that's actually starting to release the club a little bit better. A little bit later in the swing, so we get that lovely view of like we're hanging onto the club. Then that club can release. And like I said, any time those arms are straighter in this position, you see all the best players in the world like that. Whereas if you video your swing, maybe you'd see more of this on the way through. So we're going to aim straight. We're going to really work on getting that lower body going and then throw the club down and to the right. And it felt absolutely effortless there, 155 yards carry, 170 total. And I'm not saying that we want you swinging exactly like the best players in the world, but what you will see is the sequence in how they generate that energy is lower body, upper body, arms, then club last minute. Whereas, as I showed at the start, most golfers, it's clubs and arms, then body, and the lower body doing nothing. Remember, all your big muscles are legs, and then if we get that energy going from segment to segment in the body, that's how we're going to unlock that effortless power. So again, we're going to get set up, lower body towards the target, and then throw the club down and to the right. Almost if I was throwing it into the floor, it'd be down there. Again, we're going to aim nice and straight. Feels so easy to do. 160 carry, 173 total. Now, what I would say is when you're making changes in your golf swing as well, it does take time. I spend all day, every day, demonstrating what's wrong and what's right. So it's kind of a little bit easier for me to make that change. But you've got to do it in those two steps of lower body first, then we can throw down and to the right. And if you can build and hit plenty of shots doing this, it's amazing how simple that'll feel. It's amazing the kind of distances you'll end up seeing, like that 162 carry and 177 total. But remember, if you're that golfer who feels like there's lots and lots of effort, we're going to turn those arms off, unlock that secret, that effortless power, and get you hitting the best shots of your life.